Yeah, hey gang, just wanted to make a video here showing you how I'm trying to rewrite a lot of my comments. A lot of my library, 15 or 20 years old, and so I didn't have all the tools that I have in Scribeware today. So this was an old polybutylene comment that I just came up today. So I just want to, I have no plans here. I'm just like winging it. But as soon as I saw this comment, I realized that it's one of my old comments that I want to change. So I'm trying to kind of comb through my whole library and slowly do this. So this building is plumbed with polybutylene. I've been trying to make everything building instead of home. It makes my template so much more flexible. I can do it for commercial. PB 2110, PB grade plastic supply tubing, an unreliable plumbing product with a reputation for failing fittings and deteriorating plastic. This is a common product in the 1990s era manufactured homes. This is a good example of what I'm trying to do is make my comments much more simple and malleable. So I'm going to get rid of that, but I'm not getting rid of it entirely. I'm going to come down here and build a little gunny sack that's going to end up holding a lot of this. And what you'll find in this comment, like that was a mobile home reference, and it's like, well, what if the house doesn't have what if it's I'm not doing a mobile home? So because it was in my main comment, it was too specific and not helpful, and yet I don't want to lose it entirely because sometimes I find PB, I very rarely find it in houses, frankly. That's kind of why I was able to get away with it for this long, probably. But I want a comment that'll work for houses and manufactured homes, right? So I'm going to leave my cursor here. I'm going to hit the text replacement button. We're going to do allow multiple selections and bullets. And I'll paste that in, and I like to use a little pen. So Windows key, period key is my emojis on a Windows computer. So I've got a little pen. So now I've added this, and for everybody else that might use this template, that's nice because the Washington State stuff is now kind of not in the main comment. So let's go back and revisit the comment now. It's one sentence shorter, so that's good. Polybutylene piping noted this building is plumbed with PV. Reputation for failing fittings and plastic. There's been a class action lawsuit against this product in several states due to its unreliable performance. Is probably better, right? Let's do period. So I'm making a recommendation suddenly, right? I recommend. So let's get rid of that. So down here, consult with a licensed plumber. That's probably closer to what I really want to do. So this is another thing I've been trying to do to a lot of my comments, especially the longer ones. I don't do it with everything, but my longer ones, I'll kind of separate the recommendation. So I like to have a recommendation and kind of a title. I really like these all caps blue titles. I think when you're reading a summary page, it lets you scan it in a way that's very effective. So, okay, so now there's been a class action lawsuit in several states due to its unreliable performance. You can find people who have not had problems with this tubing. Look online, but this is not. All right, so that's another. This is like getting into. Yeah, I want to take all this out. We'll cut this, and I might add it here. So we'll edit and add this one in here. This is much more like a little side note. You can find people that have not had a problem with this tubing. Look online. But this is not an adequate antidote to the pipes. This will perform as intended. All it takes is one leak, and the damage to the building could exceed cost of repiping. This is such a complicated subject, polybutylene. I just on a meeting with some inspectors about it, and some areas seem to have a lot more problems with it than others. So it's just a complicated subject. So recommendation: consult with a licensed plumber to further evaluate and repair to ensure reliable performance of the supply piping system. So no leaks were noted. I don't want to put this in the comment. This one's this is another little thing I want to cut out and put in my little gunny sack. You see how this is such a cool exercise, because all the things that you're tempted to put inside of a comment that might not apply universally, you can build into this little gunny sack. And remember, this gunny sack, the pen stays hidden unless I choose something from it. So now I have this nice simple comment. Polybutylene piping noted this building is plumbed, and I don't want to say it's plumbed, because if I say it's plumbed with polybutylene, that means like the whole thing does. So how about polybutylene tubing was noted in use in this building for supply piping system. And let's do a text replacement here. Boiler distribution. So now, because I actually find PB sometimes in supply piping, and let's actually edit this, and we're going to allow multiple with and separate by and. So now I can determine whether it's the supply piping or the boiler. I can, mold the comment to fit that. So polybutylene PB21 and tubing was noted in use in this building for the blank. PB gray plastic supply tubing is an unreliable permanent product with a reputation for failing fittings and deteriorating plastic. There have been a class action lawsuit in several states. Currently, the UP, Universal Plumbing Code, spell check here. This was brought up by my friend Charles Buell, and I thought this is such a powerful statement about it, that it's not, you can't plumb, and if you're under the UPC, polybutylene is no longer a listed supply material. I think that's I really like that. It's a very concrete thing that's hey, you're not even allowed to use this product today, And in something like polybutylene, it's so nice to try to get out of the wishy-washy world and get to more concrete things. So that's why I wanted to put that in there. So I like the size of this comment now. It's much smaller and more condensed. And then if I need to, this is a common plumbing product from 90 Days of Manufactured Homes. You can find people that have not had a problem with this comment, but it's not an adequate anecdote to say the piping system will perform as intended. No leaks are noted during inspection. It's possible the tubing could continue to work as intended for years. It's not possible to predict when repair will become needed. Leaving this piping in service involves some level of risk. I kind of like these comments, but I don't necessarily, I want to use them only if I want to use them, right? So does that make sense? How this is such, I think, a great way to try to author comments. And I know this takes a lot of time on just a single comment, but it helps you build these comments that once you have them down, you've got all the information you want, and you can quickly click on them and mold them to be specific to the actual situation you're dealing with. And again, I hope you take it with a grain of salt, but I have title, recommendation, and then these sort of all the little things that can come up that don't apply to every situation, and I try to make my core paragraph kind of something universal, if that makes sense. So let's read my recommendation. Consult with a licensed plumber to further evaluate and repair to ensure reliable performance from the supply piping system. I'll leave that for now. That's a pretty good vague comment of me punting, right? You sort of have a plumber look at it. So now I'm going to come up here and just hit update library, and now I've updated my poly comment. All right, I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.